Uh, okay, so we are on a discovery where we are going to analyze about the different realities that exist in this world. And in that path, what we have come across so far are the five supreme beings, the five Parmeshtis, the Arihantas, Siddhas, Acharyas, Upadhyayas, and Sadhus. And then whatever the beautiful path that they have propagated, that they have in their divine speech have told us. And according to them, this world consists of these six dravyas, Jiva, Pudgal, Dharma, Dharma, Akash, Kal. And these all dravyas have their own existence, they have their own efficiency, they have substantivity, they have Vastutva, Dravyatva, Agrulagutva, they have their own territories, Pradeshatva, and then that they can be known. And then they also have their specific spatial attributes. The Jivas have the spatial power to know everything. The Pudgal has the spatial attribute of sparsh, ras, gandh, and burn, that they can be touched, they can be tasted, they have certain order, and they can be seen, they have color. Then there is medium of motion, which helps us in moving, and then we have the medium of rest, which helps us in having like to come to a halt. Then the time helps us in modifying ourselves, and the space lets us be, lets us dwell. So all these six substances, they have their special attributes as well. And how does this whole process functions? It functions with the charter of Dravya, Gun, and Paryay. So Dravya is the constant, and it is the owner of infinite attributes, and all those attributes work with the help of their own Paryay. So we call them modes. And how does it happen? So Dravya remains constant, and it has at every moment happening new Utpada and Vyaya, new the rise of the new Paryay and the death of the old. So Utpad and Vyaya is constantly happening, which derives the change, and the main underlying Dravya remains the constant, right? So if I was there 20 years ago and I am right now, almost everything has changed. How do I look? Where do I live? Everything has changed. But this feeling of I, that I was 20 years back and I am right now, this I still remains constant. So that is Dravya. And then in the last class, we again tried analyzing about the eternity of the soul, because now we are learning about the seven essentials, the tattvas, of which the Jiva Tattva is the most supreme Tattva. The Jiva Tattva, what does it do? It knows, but of all the important things, the most important fact about this Jiva Tattva is that it's one. In entirety of this universe, there is only one being which I can rely on for my own happiness or my sadness. There is only one existence which is going to feel what I am feeling, and that very existence is me. There is nobody other than me who is going to share my pain, who is going to offer me their joys, right? So this, with this, we also played a small wager where we discovered that no matter what we believe, it's beneficial mathematically to know that the soul is there is afterlife, and the karmas, they do exist. So all these things that led to the conclusion that, okay, no matter what we have been taught or shown in our entire life, if we are to make a rational decision, it's better that we believe in a reality which is eternal and which does not die with this body, which remains. And the result of the karmas that also exist, and whatever we do to others comes back to us. So this was all that we have discussed so far, right? Any questions so far? Anything that you want to, do you have doubt about? Nothing? Okay, so now from today, we come to the special topic, which is about the seven essentials. So let's have quickly the names. So there is Jiva, right? We have a Jiva, and I can call it very conveniently I. We have discussed a lot in detail about I, what I is. So this is the Jiva. It is going to be forever, and it is only one. That's me, right? Then next we have is the whole world minus I, that is Jiva, is equal to Ajiva. This is the second distinction. So if I have to bring the entire world, you know, the three world that we know about, the Teen Loka, right? So we have this whole Teen Loka, almost, right? So this is the three world, 343 cubic Raju, which we roughly talked about, right? In this three world, how many dravyas are there? There are six substances, right? There are six substances, Jeev, Pudgal, Dharma, Dharma, Akash, Kal. Now I'm dividing all those six substances into two. One is I, myself, and rest of the world is Ajiva. Correct? So there are two substances. Now can we further classify? See, I can say that there are only two types of religion in this world, and I'll be correct. I say there are few people who are Jains, and then there are rest of the people who are not Jains. Can we say that? Okay, I am Jain, so that is one of the categorization. Like just like we did, there are two types of things. One is Jiva, and the other things are not Jiva. Regardless of whether they are Pudgal or Dharma or Adharma or Akash or Kal, they are not Jiva. That's it. There is one type of tattva which is I, and then there is rest of the world, rest all other tattvas which are not me. So everything minus me is equal to Ajiva. Ajiva shall not be confused with the non-living. The being that does not live need not be Ajiva necessarily. So for me, Adi, you are Jiva or Ajiva? Sorry? You are a Jeev Tattva or Ajiv Tattva. If I am looking from my perspective, you are Jiva or Ajiv for me. You are a Jiva or Ajiva Tattva. We're talking about Tattva.
Oh, Jeev.
Sorry?
Jeev.
You are a Jeev, you're saying? Jia, what do you think? You are a Jiva or a Jiva?
Jeev.
You are Jeev, right? So that's your introduction. Okay, I am Jeev or Ajiv?
Jeev.
I am also Jiva. That's what we're trying to find out over here, that all these definitions will not work. For me, Adi is equal to Jia is equal to everyone else is equal to Ajiv. Everybody is Ajiv for me. For me, you are Ajiv. Why? I'll only call that person Jiva who can feel my happiness. Can you feel my happiness? Can you feel what I am feeling? So just like this watch, it does not understand how I feel. The same way you do not understand how I feel. So how are you different from this watch for me, for my feelings? Just like this thing is totally alien for my feelings, for my sufferings, my joys, so are you. Even you are very, very, very alien to what I and how I feel. Same way, I am very alien to how you feel. I cannot feel the way you do. So you are a Jiva for yourself, and rest everybody for you are a Jiva. Though they are Jeev Dravyas, though I am a conscious being, I know that's why I am Jiva. But I'm not Jeev Tattva for you. For me, I am Jeev Tattva. For you, you are Jeev Tattva. Understood? Am I making sense? Adi, is it clear? Can you explain what I just said? Can you just add to it? Yes, please.
Everyone who doesn't feel your feelings is a Jiva, but you are Jeev because you can feel
Because now what we're talking about is we're talking business. Why are we even learning about religion? Why do we sit every Sunday morning to understand about the nature of existence? Why are we doing this exercise? Gia, why are we sitting every Sunday just to talk about random things which are not even going to come in our exams, or which will not be included in the grades? I don't think it will help you in your career, in your future subjects. Why are we like, yeah,
We can know the Jeep.
why do you want to know about the chief?
We can get happiness.
Yes, so we are trying to figure out if if at all there is a way to be happy, correct? And so to find out that way, that can we be happy, we are trying to now only talk business. First, I want to be happy, right? Yes, I want to be happy, you want to be happy. Your happiness, can it be can it be felt by me? Can I feel your happiness? I can see you happy. I can see you explode with joy. At best, what I can do, I can congratulate you. I can smile. I can just admire. But the kind of happiness, the kind of joy you feel, or the kind of pain you feel, I cannot feel that. No matter how hard I try. Not me, even your parents cannot do that. Yes? Yes, that's true, right? So therefore, the first fundamental question comes that why we are sitting over here is to garner happiness, is to have happiness in our lives. And then, so we need first the person who is responsible for our happiness. And only that person is Jiva enough for us. Rest everybody is as good as a Jiva. So I'm not going to designate anybody else other than me as Jiva, simply for the fact that they are not related to my happiness, just like any other material thing is. Just like this non-living thing does not give me any happiness, the same way you, the living thing, are incapable of giving me happiness. Yes, and therefore, while we're talking business, means while we're talking essential tattvas, there is only one jiva, and that is me. So essentials, we're learning about essentials is equal to, we call them tattva, right? So it is the whole essence of all the learnings that we are doing, right? Everybody, are we on this same page? Can you relate to why we are saying first we learned about the different types of jivas that are present in this world? We learned about the four gatis. We learned about the different forms of life that exist in this world, right? We did learn about all those things, yes? Yes. But now we are saying, no, there are not many types of jivas. No, their jivas are not infinite. Yeah, though there are infinite beings who can know and perceive. But there is only one being who knows and perceives for me. For me, there is only one knower, one person who can feel whatever I feel, and that is myself. So for me, in real sense, there is only one Jiva. Yes? Yes? Are we all on this? Okay, fine. And then rest everybody else is what? Automatically. If they are not Jiva, we call them simply, rather than naming them, okay, this is like, let me ask you the simple question. You live in a city, right? So do you know each and every house of that city? Like whose house is that? Whose house is that? Who lives in that house? Do you know every house of that city? Yet you know every house of that city. I can prove it. You know, we always know each and every house of that city, you know. If you know which house is yours, you know at least one fact about every other house. And that fact is that it's not my house. It's not my house. It's not my house. See, you know a single thing, a very small fact about that house, but you know about every house of that city. If you know about your house, if this is my house, I know something about every other house of the city. And what do I know about that other houses of that city? I know that this is not my house. See, I'm going to airport to board my flight. I know everything about all others' flight as well. I just have to see, okay, that's not my flight. That's not my flight. That's not my time. That's not my gate to board from. If we know what we have to board, which flight do we have to board on, if we know which house we have to dwell on, if we know this thing, then everything other than that becomes very, very, very negligible. We can very easily neglect it. The knowing more about it does, if I know the address of my house and if I have keys of my house, I don't care who owns the house next to my house, because I have my place to rest on, right? So similarly, when I said I am Jiva, the whole world became just a general thing which can easily neglect it, which can be neglected very easily. Why? Because I will not waste my effort, time, energy in figuring out that whether it's a Pudgal Tattva, whether it's a Dharma Dravya, whether it's Kal, whether it's Ajiva. They are not my houses. That's not my flight. That's not my chair. That's not my school. That's not my class. Whenever we know something that is ours, everything other that is not ours, it can easily be neglected. Yes, right? So that's what we did. We made one person as myself, and then we grouped everything else as one tattva, which is Ajiva Tattva. Understood? Yeah. Now the problem started. The problem started that, okay, while we started learning about this whole world thing, right? So we had this world, have you seen this world? Right? This is the teen loka that we had. And we were told that it is nothing but the collection of these six substances, right? It's nothing. There are only six substances that are there in this world. Yes or no? Yeah. Anything other than these six substances that you can think of? Because we did a great exercise about it. Is there anything else other than six substances in this world? See, there can be only a knower, then the things that we can perceive, the matter, then the movement of matter and the jiva is facilitated by dharma dravya, facilitated by adharma dravya, the rest, and the time is responsible for the change, and the space is all that we see over here, right? Right? That's what about the, like, anything else other than this you need in this world? Anything else that you need this world to function? Right? Whatever you see is Pudgal, who sees is Jiva, and the movement is regulated by Dharma and Adharma. The Kal is responsible for change, and space is all that you can see. Right? There is no space for any other dravya. There is no necessity, right? No other dravya is required. So is there anything other than this in this world? No. So now what we just did, we divided this whole world population into two. How did we divide it? We just said these six substances can be further divided into two parts. The first part is I, the person who is responsible for each and every emotion that I have, and the other is rest of the world, right? Rest of the substances. Equation is complete. It's still completed, right? This, either I can say that this world constitutes of six substances, or I can say that this world constitutes of me and all other substances. Can I not say that? Yes. Yes. Can we say that, Jia, Adi? Soham, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you getting what we're talking about? Like the context? You joined late.
Yeah, sorry, I'm late.
Yes. So what
just
we are
catching up.
talking about is this simple thing, that in this world there are six substances, and I'm further dividing them, rather than into six parts, I'm just dividing them into two easy parts. I'm talking about myself, and I'm leaving everything else, because all that matters is myself, right?
Yeah.
Because my whole happiness, it's restricted till me. It's just on me to make myself happy. No other substances coming to help me find happiness. Therefore, I'm ignoring each and every substance, and I'm keeping myself here. But the simple point is, now my doubt is, if there are only six substances, and then we can divide all those six substances into two, I and rest of the world, then from where else do I bring other substances? I just said, no, while we were talking about the essentials, I said that there are 7 essential tattvas, right? There are 7 tattvas, right? And out of 7 tattvas, we only discussed about 2. The first one is jiva. The second one is ajiva. And the moment I say ajiva, the whole world is included, is covered in these 2 tattvas. And is there anything else? Is there a third tattva that can take place in this world? No. 6 substances are only there, and they are very well categorized in these 2 forms. One is jiva and other is ajiva. Correct? So then what other 5 tattvas will made up of? We do not have anything else. Are you getting my question, my point?
Yeah.
When these 6 types of realities that are possible, and we divided those, we categorized those 6 realities into 2. One is I kept myself aside, and then I ignored the whole world. The rest of the world was put aside. Correct? And now you're saying that there are 5 more essentials. So what are those essentials? There is nothing else in this world that is left. Everything has been covered. So now the great concept comes. Let's watch a very simple one video. I think we have already watched it. If not, then we can again see it. Let's have a very simple and thought-provoking video in front of us. You must have seen it, but let's see it again.
The film you're about to see has no characters. If you spare a little of your imagination, it is a film to describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter. Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound.
Okay. How many of you have seen it already, seen this video? No? Okay, great. Then it's good for a healthy discussion then. Okay, so anybody can tell me in brief what was this video about? Let's start from Soham. Soham, yes?
Yeah, so how like matter reacts to sound waves changing, like
Okay, yeah. So metal, are you sure about metal?
no, matter, like
Right, matter, right? So they had water, they had fire, they had sand, they had electricity as well, right? Okay. Yeah, Adi, what did you like observe in that video?
They kind of changed the light during the whole video, and at the end they showed that it was actually like, kind of an illusion.
Illusion? What was illusion?
It didn't look that dark. It was just like people playing
Okay,
things.
okay, fine. Yes, Gia, your observations?
So when the music played, like the different matter, the water, for example, it moved with the music.
Yeah. Okay. So there was music, and with the effect of that music, the sound that was being created using different instruments, the effect of that sound could be seen on sand, on water, on fire, right? It was very. What was so special about that effect? Kirpaji, if you would like to add something on this. Like, was there any particular thing that is noticeable about the sound and the various matter arrangements?
I'm sorry, I only caught the end of the video because I was distracted with something else. Sorry. But for me, the music was like quite harsh, and the whole outlook of it was quite harsh.
Yes, it was very intense. Yes. Neeraj, would you want to add something from that video?
Yeah, I just observed the reaction of the different materials against the.
Yeah. Let's see it from the problem that we have on hand. What problem do we have on hand? The question that we started with was this: that okay, in this world made up of 6 substances, I can recategorize these substances very conveniently into 2 ways. One is me, and other is rest of the world, right? But now, is there anything else in this world? So clearly, if we'll talk about the reality, there is no reality. There are only 2 people. One is I and one is rest of the world. But still, there are things which can easily take birth because of the reactions or interactions of these 2. So what is happening in that video as well? There was, let's say, there was scent, and then there was sound. 2 people. There was scent, there was sound. And then what was happening? When scent was put close to that sound, automatically the scent started making formations. So if I say, was that formation, the decoration, the different shapes that scent was taking place, right? That the different shapes that scent took automatically without anybody asking it to make. Did you notice very particular thing about that shape? Soham, Jia, I think you must have noticed. So for a specific note of sound, the scent was making a specific design. Could you see that? And the note changed and the design changed. And then again, when the same note came back, the design again resumed to the old format. Did it happen? Did you see that happening?
yeah.
Yes, correct. So can we say that who was instructing the scent? Is scent a living being? Can it take instructions? It's not definitely an artist, right, who is dancing in a group of people and who are taking their formations. It was purely a matter. It was a scent. It was just scent. Scent was there. A specific sound note was given, and then the whole scent worked as a group, like displayed a great group performance, and it made and showed us a formation. And that formation was not random. For that note, the scent always had the same formation. Even for the fire, you must have seen. For the same note, there were different formation of the fire. And the intensity of note also made the height of the fire. It set the height of the fire as well. So when it was very harshly put, the sound, the fire actually erupted. Did you see that happening? Right? So whether it was water, whether it was sand, whether it was fire, everything was reacting to that sound. And the reaction was so definite that for the same note, the sand will always behave in the same way. For a different note, the sand will behave in a very different way. And for two different notes, the sand will not have the same formation. It will always have a different formation. Could you observe that? Jia, Adi, Soham, you all saw that, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So what point I want to make is there are two types of things. One is scent. Okay, let's say one is scent. The other thing is sound. The two things are there, right? There is scent and there is sound. And because of the interaction of the two, we get the third thing, and it is formation. Can you call a formation the separate? Is formation a separate substance? Is formation different from the sound and the scent? Can you separate it? Can you separate the design from these two? If you want to catch that formation, that design, can you catch it? You cannot. The design is nothing but the dance of the different particles of sand. And yet, it was so distinct, it was so unique that for the very same note, there was a specific design. Yes. Similarly, though the formation, the design, it's not a different reality. The design, the formation is not a different reality. Formation is nothing but the dance of the sound. Let me write it. Sound and scent. So that it resulted into a definite design. And that design is not a separate reality. It is just the function of these two. Similarly, what is happening in this world, just like the sound, every sound, every sound. Did you ever realize that if somebody plays a sad music, you begin to feel a little bit sad, a little bit low? If somebody strikes a very energetic chord, if in background there is a very charming, energetic music, you actually feel good. So when we go to the mall, shopping malls and all these places, there is always in background some kind of music happening, right? And that music actually sets your mood, and therefore you end up buying more which even things which you never even planned. So see, the sound is playing with your mindset, just like the sound is playing with the formation, with everything that we have around. Therefore there is very from very ancient old times, the mantras have always been of great importance. What are mantras? They're nothing but the different combination of sounds. And with sound, you can actually influence the matter that you have around you. It's very simple. With music, you can actually calm your mood down, right? With a good music can make your mood. The bad music can actually spoil your mood, right? That's how what they do in the films, in the background scores, everywhere. If you want to set certain type of emotions, you have to bring that type of sound, that type of music. So what Acharya said, what Jain scholars said, that see, just like even this sand, which is not even a living being, yet it behaves to the different notes of music. Means all our realities are very closely knit, very closely knit. For the reaction of one, for the cause of one, there is a fact that can be seen on the other reality. Yes. So if spring comes and all flowers bloom, all plants bloom, the fall comes and all the leaves start to fall, right? For different seasons, the nature behaves very differently. Correct. So our whole existence is very closely knit. So when the two objects actually collaborate and dance together, there are always designs and patterns that take place. What are those designs and patterns? When we talk in the context of giver and achiever, we call those patterns the specific equation of karmas, and that is in Jainism defined by, let me put it over here, Ashra, Bandh, Samvar, Nirjara, and seventh is Moksha. These are not different realities, no. Just like the jiva is reality, which can be touched, which can be, perceived. Just like this remote is a reality. Ashraf, Bandh, Samvar, Nijra, Moksha, they're not substances. They're not dravyas. They are the patterns that actually take place entirely based on the interaction between the jiva and ajiva. So these five are nothing but the function of these two. So these five are the function of these two. So jiva and ajiva, they both dance, and whole of these, what should I say, whole of these ashraf, bandh, samvar, nirjara, moksha. These five different types of patterns take place. Understood? So I'll very briefly explain you. Have you ever seen, I don't know whether you guys do it in your schools or not. In India, what we used to do when we were in school, we used to have magic, like that sort of magic. I don't know if you know that magic or not. We have a scale, ruler, a plastic ruler we used to have. And what we used to do is we used to tear down the pages, and very small, the page, we used to tear down the page into very small parts, and then what we used to do is we used to have that, let me see if I have it, maybe I can demonstrate. Yeah, so we used to have these rulers. What we used to do is we used to just rub it on our heads, like this, and what we'll do is we'll put very small papers on our books. And then what we'll see after rubbing it, what we see, the magic happens. It is happening right now. Let me see if I can show it. Wait, I'll have to put off the pen. So what I'll do is I'll just rub it over my head. And then what I'll do is if you can see it, so the magic happens. The paper can actually, it gets stuck to this ruler. Have you ever tried in your school? Jia, Adi? Oh, why are you not nodding your faces then? We've done it, right? Yeah. So what is this happening? What is this? What do we call it? See, it's just, we are just making energy by rubbing it in our hair, and we are the charge that is created, it is actually attracting the paper, and then the paper gets attached to it. Correct? Similarly, what the phenomenon in Jainism is, it's a very interesting, just what we say is the soul, the Atma, the soul, it is made up of, you remember Pradeshatva Gun? What was Pradeshatva, that common attribute, Pradeshat, because of which we had a definite shape. The soul has a shape, right? And we call them Pradesh. Our soul is made up of the material that is called Pradesh. So the whole shape of the soul can be covered in Pradeshas. Okay. And that Pradesh has specific Shakti. We call it Yoga. You have heard about yoga, right? So we call it Yoga. What happens because of yoga? All these Pradesha, they actually rotate. So, when you are very much worried, your blood pressure increases. When you are in very much, before going to the stage, you actually shiver. You can feel the sweat on your face, right? Before you feel very nauseous, right? Adi, whenever you have to speak something over the mic, do you feel like your whole body shaking or something? Yeah? Or you're always confident? It's common to all of us. Someday or another, when we are center of attraction, if we have a performance to make, our whole body reacts very differently. You begin to yawn sometimes. You begin to, sweat sometimes, right? It happens to all of us. Yes. How is that happening? Our emotions, whatever the fear, the emotion of fear, the emotion of excitement, whatever it has direct relation to this whole body and as well as soul. So while our pradeshas, they rotate, they create certain kind of charge. That charge, what does it do? Just like the charge created over here because of the movement of the scale over my head, it created a charge, and then whatever was here which could be attracted, it attracted it. Similarly, the moment this soul sees a jiva and have desires to own something, to eat something, to think of something, the yoga takes place. So there are three types of yoga: mana yoga, vachan yoga, and kaya yoga. Man is the mind, what we think. Vachan is the words that we speak, and kaya is the bodily actions that we do. So whenever I use body, whenever I use my voice, or whenever my thoughts are running inside my mind, whenever these three things are happening, automatically there is a certain type of charge that is being created in my soul. I call it yoga. Yoga is nothing but the charge by mana, vachan, and kaya. So there is a certain kind of vibration that happens in the soul. Because of that charge, attraction is created, and we all are surrounded by karmic dust. We call it karmic dust, which is scattered all over this earth. The moment a soul karmic dust, the moment a soul does yoga, yoga of man, vachan, and kai, this karmic dust begins to get attracted towards that particular soul. This whole process is called ashrava. Ashrav is what? When, because of the charge created by man, vachan, or kaya yoga, the karmic dust, the karma vargana, it begins to come into the soul. So we call it influx. It's the coming of the karmic particles to the soul. It's called influx. Why do karmas come? Because we have invited them. How have we invited them? Through our mana, through our thoughts, through our voice, through our bodily actions. These are the three ways of inviting karmas. Understood? What are the three ways of inviting karmas? Through your mana, through your vachan, through your kaya, you can invite the karma. So the ashrav happens because of man, vachan, and kaya. Okay, fine. Now the karmas have arrived because you had called them. But what if we do it? I ordered something on Amazon, and when it arrived, I did not like it, so I returned it. Right? So I very well have that option. So karmas come, and I do not react. The karmas will go. But what if I embrace them with my emotions? I welcome them with all sorts of raga and dvesha, with all sorts of kashais, passion. If I welcome them with this, the ashraf converts itself to bandha. So the karmas first came by accepting our invitation of man, vachan, and kaya. And when they took the invitation very seriously and visited us, we welcomed them with a raga and dvesha, with our likes and dislikes, with our moha and raga, with our emotions, passions. The same karma plan, because of getting such nice hosts, they extend their stay and they live with us, they dwell with us for a certain amount of time. So that's called bondage. So bandha is bond. It's the bondage that we share with the karmas because of our good behavior towards them. How do we behave well with karmas? By being angry, by being envy, by being, very violent, by doing raga or dvesha, krodh, man, maya, lobh, all sorts of passions and emotions, right? But what if I sit in myself and I deny to engage in any of the bodily activity. I do not move in my body, with my body. I do not speak and I do not think anything. I just meditate. So there is no invitation that is sent to the karmas. So the karmas will not visit. Rather, I'll stay in my own house. And that possibility is called samvar, where you stop the karmas from visiting you. The karmas do not come. And what about the karmas which are already staying, which are already there with you? I engage in great endeavor of tapa. I do tapa. I do penance. And when I do tapa, what happens? The nirjara happens. Means the existing guests who are staying right now, the karmas, they begin to leave because now they feel threatened and disrespected. And no person of good character would stay if he's not being treated well. So the karmas, they have very high level of egos. So the moment they realize that they are not being welcomed in this house, they begin to vacate the soul. And when the nirjara completes and the soul remains forever in itself, the emptiness created by the karma is named as moksha. So these five are the situation which are entirely based on the interaction between the jiva and the whole world. When jiva says that no, I need this whole world to make me happy, it opens its mana, vachan and kaya to the whole world and ashram happens. When we expect something from it, we already feel something towards it. We like it or we dislike it. We fondly want it or we fondly do not want it. So all sorts of good emotions and bad emotions, they ensure and then they convert that karmic dust into karma. And we get bonded with this karma. So the second possibility arises, that is of bandha. When, because of a great teacher, a great scholar, because of a guru like Acharya Upadhyay Sadhu Pameshti, we are told about the reality, about the nature of all these emotions and karmas, we realize that, oh, there is nothing in this world that is worth carrying attachment with. I deny all the material things that I have. I do not want anything to be happy. I have myself. When we disown everything and we choose to remain in ourselves, that day the samvar happens, means the influx stops. New karmas, they stop to come to us. And when that influx stops, when samvar happens, automatically by the practice of tapa, we discard the old stock that we are carrying of karmas. That is called nirjara. Nirjara is going away of karma. And when all the karmas are gone, we are free. We are called mukta. That's called moksha. So there are two realities. One is of Jiva and other is of Ajiva. And the dance of the two is so beautiful. When Jiva seeks something from Ajiva, when Jiva seeks happiness from Ajiva, in return, it gets the sufferings of Ashraf and Band. When Jiva realizes that happiness does not reside outside, the happiness comes from within. In reward, Jiva, what does it get? Jiva gets samvar, nirjara, and then Jiva gets moksha. So samvar, nirjara, and moksha is when Jiva remains with itself. And when Jiva chooses that, okay, no, I want other substances to make me happy, then the whole process spoils itself. And what does Jiva get? Jiva gets the problematic ashraf and bandh. Okay, so when Jiva stays with itself, therefore there is very famous sutra. If you want to write it down. We can remember this small sutra. It's in Prakrit. I'll write it in English. Appa, appammi, rao. Appa means atma. Appammi means in atma. Rao, rat. So to be happy, what the soul must do? The soul must rest in self to be happy. We must engage in ourselves rather than looking out, seeking out happiness from external sources. It would be much better if we explore the universe within. In that way, we can break this great cycle of ashram and bandha. And when then ashram and bandha get stopped, samvar and nirjara takes place, and their end result is moksha, and that is where the complete happiness lies. Okay, I hope you guys, it clicked a bit using different examples, but still in the next class, we'll use a very different example which is famous in explaining about the seven tattvas. It is the example of the boat and water. We'll do that example and then we'll learn in detail, in very, very short detail about the seven tattvas. If you have any questions, you can ask now. Anybody? Any questions? Any queries? You understood, Jia? Did it make sense a bit? Yes. So it's really amazing. Just like sound, it has certain impact. Like when you listen to a very deep pitched sound in DJ or in functions we can actually feel the vibration in our bodies, right? The vibration of the beats of the bass, right? Similarly, just like this sound, it has certain impact in its external surrounding. Similarly, our thoughts also send out the vibrations. So if I'm feeling very happy and I meet you, you suddenly begin to feel light, right? There's someone you meet and who's very happy. You see their face and you also feel good, right? What we feel inside, if somebody is very sad, very tensed, you sit with them and you also begin to feel very heavy. Does it ever occur to you? Does it happen with you? I don't know. Just try to observe it next time. So our thoughts, they also carry vibrations, and that determines what kind of ashram we are intaking. And therefore, it's very important to keep track of our thoughts. So we'll talk about it in the next class. For now, let's do the Manustati quickly. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए चिन्हवाणी माँ को वंदना शतवार है, उसके लिए चिन्हवाणी माँ को वंदना शतवार है. 9 times Namaskar mantra. जैन धर्म नो जय हो. जय जिनेन्द्र.
Thank you, Judgment.
Thank you.